production of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Ohio.
Allen takes a huge heave of breath, and the 1-2 pitch swung out and missed. He struck him out, and after a 9-year wait, Central Division title number 8 belongs to Cleveland.
We're all part of this. We're all proud of this. I love them. I'm proud of them. However, our job is not done.
This is special. We're going to enjoy this, and we're going to party, and we're going to enjoy it, and then we're going to party and enjoy it again.
Nobody in here ever doubted us. You know, we kept playing for each other, and I think that's what made it so special.
We firmly believe this was our turn. It was our year, and we stuck to that plan the entire time. As soon as we got first place in June, we never let go.
Oh, how sweet it is. As they say, to the victors go the spoils. And the party that Mike Napoli spoke of went on late last night into the wee hours of the morning as the Indians celebrate their Central Division championship here in the Motor City. And now it's back to work. Game 2 of this 4-game series between Cleveland and Detroit, and still a lot to play for the Indians. We won't see really any of the regulars in the starting lineup today, but Terry Francona will continue to push this club because they really would love to secure home field advantage in the postseason.
Well, if they're going to do that, they're going to really have to fight for it, because keep in mind that the Indians are going to have to beat Texas and Boston by a game when it comes to the tiebreaker. So they've got their work cut out for them, but they spent the last 116 days in first place, and no one's going to take it away from them. As they said, they got it in June. You can see Boston and Texas have 92 wins. The Indians will play Thursday. The other two teams will be off. So the Indians have their work cut out for them, but we'll see what happens. They can enjoy it at least for another day.
The Indians eliminated the Detroit Tigers from the Central Division race last night, but the Tigers still have a chance at the wild card, though it is an uphill climb for Detroit. They're 2 games back of Baltimore for that second wild card position.
They pretty much have to win out. They have their 6 games to play, the 3 with the Indians, and they end up in Atlanta. And on the mound for him tonight is Justin Verlander, who, if you remember that start, the Indians hit 4 home runs in an inning off Justin. Since that point, in his last 16 starts, 8-2 with a 2.16 ERA. He's been brilliant. He leads the league in strikeouts, and you'll see the standings right here. This is what the Tigers have to do. And the Seattle Mariners are hanging around. They're 2 games out as well. But right now, Toronto, Baltimore hold the 2 key spots right there, so it'll be a fight to the finish.
The Tigers are going to be rooting hard for both Toronto and New York. Those are the teams the Orioles will finish out the season with. The Tigers trying to catch the O's for that wild card position. We'll be back with today's first pitch. We're going to celebrate all game long the Indian Central Division Championship. We'll be right back with the first pitch after this. Cleveland Indians baseball is brought to you by W.B. Mason, the official office supplier of the Cleveland Indians. By McDonald's, I'm loving it. And by your local Toyota dealers, visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. Preparing for tonight's ball game. Many of the regulars will be watching. They'll be cheering as some of the younger players get an opportunity to show their stuff here tonight. Last night, lost maybe perhaps in all of the celebratory atmosphere, was the fact that Corey Kluber had to leave after only 4 innings with tightness in his right groin. Talked to him afterwards last night. He seemed to think everything was okay, but he got evaluated further this afternoon, and with the very latest on that, here's Andre Knott.
Well, Corey Kluber was sent back to Cleveland to get an MRI on the growing area. They said everything they think is okay or better because he's just sore in that area, not more sore than he was last night. They flew him back here to Detroit. He just got back. We should have an update of exactly what's wrong with him or exactly how long he could be out sometime throughout the game or after the game tonight. But the team is encouraged that he's just sore today. Now, there's going to be some differences in the rotation over the next couple of days. Zach McAllister will start tomorrow's game, and then in the afternoon game on Thursday, it looks like the team will go with Ryan Merritt. Then when the team goes to Kansas City, the lineup will be changed again with the rotation because it looks like at this point in time, Terry Francona wants to get his guys rested and prepared for the playoffs. Is the home field advantage important? Yes, but he wants his guys ready to go. It looks like Bauer will go Saturday, and then Tomlin will be mixed in somewhere around that. And if necessary, you may get a couple innings out of Kluber on Sunday as well.
Yeah, and one of the things when I talked to Corey last night was, hey, you get basically 10 days to get ready for that first postseason start. So if it's just rest, that'll get that groin feeling 100% again or close to it. Hopefully he has the time to do that.
Well, let's hope so. That's the news we need to hear right there. He can be ready and possibly pitch on Sunday.
Justin Verlander will start tonight for Detroit, and he is in the midst of another fine season for the Tigers. The lineup he will face for the Indians is brought to you by Progressive. This is how it shakes out with Tyler Naquin leading it off. Michael Martinez at second base, Abraham Almonte in right field. Carlos Santana will DH. Brandon Guyer is in left. Jesus Aguilar gets the start at first base. Then it's Chris Jimenez at third, Adam Moore behind the plate, and Eric Gonzalez at shortstop.
Our Northern Ohio Hyundai starting pitcher is going to be Justin Verlander, and Verlander has had a fine season. He's 15-8. He leads the league in strikeouts with 234. He'll be making his fifth start against the Indians this year. He is 0-3, and he has one no decision. That no decision came back on September 17th in Cleveland, where he tossed a gem, 7 innings, just 1 hit, did not allow a run, and he still couldn't beat the Indians. That's where the Indians went on to win 1-0 in that ball game. And the defense behind him tonight looks like this. It'll be Upton in left field, Maben in center, J.D. Martinez over in right. Ibar is at third, Iglesias is at short, Kinsler at second, Cabrera at first, McCann behind the plate.
And the umpires tonight, Dan Bellino has the plate. The crew chief, Hunter Wendelstedt, is at first base. Jim Reynolds at second, and Trip Gibson down at third. And here is Tyler Naquin to lead it off. Naquin last night 0 for 1 with a walk. And Verlander's first pitch, a fastball for strike 1. Our game time temperature is 66 degrees under cloudy skies in downtown Detroit. Upstairs, 1-1.
Verlander, a guy that has pitched against the Indians more than any other team in baseball. This is his 48th start. The Tribe has done a good job against him. He is 18-21 with a .459 earned run average. Not many teams can say that about this guy.
Swing and a miss. And the 1-2. Right back to the high fastball. Naquin lays off. And the count evens up. Yeah, the Indians have handed him quite a few disappointing days in his career. None more so, I don't believe, than the one back in June when they shellacked him with 4 home runs in an inning. He strikes out Naquin to start the night. Our keys to the game are courtesy of Wayside Furniture. Give Verlander an offer.
Yeah, well, as I mentioned, his 5th start, he's 0-3 and a no decision.
And for Mike Clevenger, the changeup could be an important pitch even with the right-handed hitters.
He threw it very well in his last start to the right-handers, really broke it out.
Up and away with a fastball to Michael Martinez for ball 1.
But since that June game against the Indians, he has really turned it around.
Tied him up, and it's 1-1.
You know, in that game too, if I recall correctly, the 4 home runs they hit in that inning, I think all of them were on off-speed pitches. They were not fastballs.
I think you're right, because I remember we made a point of going back and looking at them.
Yeah.
Location obviously was a problem, but also off-speed pitches. Verlander steps away. James McCann doing the catching tonight. Now the 1-1. Threw it by him, and that was 96 at the letters. You're not going to catch up to that. Now, when Verlander started against the Indians in Cleveland his last time out, it was Jared Saltalamacchia who was doing the catching. And it was noted during the national telecast that Verlander was using the kind of signals with his catcher that you would normally use when you have a runner at second base. In other words, you've got a sequence of signals that are used to keep opposing teams, in particular the base runner at second base, from figuring out what you're going to throw and then relaying them to the hitters. He was doing it with nobody on base, which was odd and unusual. But so far tonight, we haven't seen him do that. He has struck out the first 2 hitters, and here's Abraham Almonte. Fastball is outside. I'm not sure what to make of this statistic. But Verlander's a guy who can make you look bad, obviously, because he's got great ability. And so when you face a pitcher like that, chances are hitters will be maybe a little more aggressive. So far this year, hitters have a swing percentage of better than 50% against Verlander. The league average is just over 46%. He's got the 10th highest swing rate. In other words, guys get up there, they're not going to spot him, they're not going to look, they want to swing.
When you don't face him a lot and you're not in his division, they have a tendency to go up there and they don't want to get to 2 strikes.
The Indians go 1-2-3 to start tonight's game. The Tigers are coming to bat. Take a look at the Tigers starting lineup. Brought to you by Spitzer Automotive. Ian Kinsler once again leading it off. He scored a couple of runs last night. He's among the top run scorers in the American League. Cameron Maybin, Miguel Cabrera, Victor and J.D. Martinez. Justin Upton bats sixth. Then it's Ibar, McCann, and Iglesias.
And our Northern Ohio Honda starting pitcher is 25-year-old Mike Clevenger. Will be making his 10th Major League start. He has faced Detroit one time this year. Out of the bullpen, he went 2 innings, allowed just 1 hit. It's the only time he has faced the Tigers. Coming off a start against Kansas City where he went 5 innings. Didn't factor into that decision, but I think he threw the ball very well.
Kinsler now tied for 4th in the American League with 113 runs scored. He's tied with George Springer of the Astros and Xander Bogaerts of Boston. And the reason I mentioned the other two is because Arch Bogaerts is tied with 113. His teammate Mookie Betts is just ahead of him with 119 runs scored. Wow. Dustin Pedroia is 10th with 102.
Well, when you're hitting in those first 2 spots and you're getting to that 100-run mark, that's the benchmark. You get on base for the big boys in the middle part of the lineup.
Kinsler had 3 hits last night. Takes low and away, 3 balls and a strike.
Well, the one thing about Kinsler, he's knocked himself in 26 times, 26 home runs. So, and he does a nice job in the leadoff spot for the big boys in this lineup.
Clevenger walks him, and the Tigers have their leadoff man aboard.
Check out that Indians defense behind Clevenger tonight, brought to you by Jeep. It stacks up this way. Geyer will get the start in left field. Naquin is in center. Almonte over in right. Chris Jimenez is at third base. Gonzalez the shortstop. Martinez at second. Aguilar is at first. And Moore doing the catching.
Cameron Maybin, he was 0 for 5 last night. Out goes Adam Moore to talk with Clevenger, who's trying to establish his fastball, but he's having a tough time getting it in the strike zone.
Well, a lot of times you either call that off-speed pitch. Maybe a changeup would slow him down a little bit if he's rushing with that fastball.
Line drive, single to center. And Naquin cuts it off, but on his way to third is Kinsler. Into second with a double is Maybin. The Tigers off and running here. Second and third, nobody out.
Well, he comes back with the fastball behind, and that one is right down the tube. Right down the heart of the plate, and he drills it into right center field. Naquin did a nice job cutting it off to get it in. But Maybin continued to run. He saw that Naquin was off balance throwing that ball, so it's second and third now, and nobody out.
And the batter is Miguel Cabrera. He was 2 for 4 last night, knocked in a couple of runs for the Tigers. Down on his feet, ball 1. And he's just having a tough time getting it in the strike zone.
Yes, he is.
With anything.
Well, this guy, I'm surprised. You see upstairs is the spot, but you're scared to pitch him upstairs. I would think a lot of that would be red with him.
It's launched deep into the alley. And off the wall, 2 will score. The Tigers take a 2-0 lead as Miguel Cabrera into second with his 31st double of the year, and he is now driven in 99 runs for Detroit.
Yeah, he comes in with a 2-0 slider. Check it out on our Indiana Wesleyan University pitch tracker. Slider stays there. Cabrera, anything away from him, he shoots that way and makes it look so easy. His short hops the wall, so they have back-to-back doubles, and right now Clevenger in a heap of trouble. 7 out of his 10 pitches have been out of the strike zone, and this is a tough group to pitch when you're behind in the count.
Well, in 3 batters in, they've got 2 runs on the board, and you're facing a Justin Verlander who has been red hot of late. So not a good start for Cleveland to this point. Victor Martinez to the plate. Understandably, with the Indians resting just about all of their regular players here tonight, the Tribe was installed as a heavy underdog by the boys in Vegas. However, should the Indians find a way to win this game tonight, it would equal their most wins against Detroit in a single season since 1952. Now, granted, there were a number of years in between there where you didn't have enough games against them.
Right.
You know, they didn't have the sort of the
I think they had 12 one time.
Yeah, and they won them all that
right.
1 year.
I think that was 96.
I think that came at the expense of Buddy Bell. I think he was the Tigers manager that year. The 1-1. And there's a line drive. And a nice catch by Michael Martinez. And there's a case where the shift steals a hit, perhaps extra bases from Victor Martinez. Boy, did he show some serious sky hops.
He timed it beautifully. You can see it in your picture. To the right side, he just took one step and timed that leap and made a nice catch to get the first out that Clevenger desperately needed. Took a hit away from Martinez and an RBI.
Well, here is J.D. Martinez. Martinez was one of the only Tigers who stayed at the conclusion of the game last night and watched the Indians celebrate on the Tigers' home field. He said afterward, as I sat there and watched them, all I could think to myself is that should be us. But he said, you know, at the end of the day, they beat us straight up, and that's why they're the Central Division champions.
Boy, they sure did. Handily. And you look up on the scoreboard, and normally it was be the Indians on the board first. That's going to fall.
And it's going to bloop in. Coming around third, Miguel Cabrera will try to score. Here's the throw to the plate, and he is out at the dish. A nice throw by Abraham Almonte, and a good tag from Adam Moore to get Cabrera.
Yeah, that was a nice play by Almonte coming in. I'm surprised they did send Cabrera there in that situation because it's not going to be a long throw. And he picked it up quickly and throws it all the way in the air, and it wasn't that far.
Ooh.
And, you know, they may look at it because he may have had that foot in there.
That was close.
We'll see.
They're taking a look at it right now
to see if they want to challenge. Let's see. Well, from that angle, this is going to be the look right here. Does he get the foot in before the tag is applied by Moore?
Well, the Tigers are not challenging, Arch.
Okay.
Are you surprised?
Yes, I am. Looked like he might have had that toe come in to the plate. I am a little bit surprised.
Two down in the inning, and Justin Upton takes the ball down and in. Well, you know, that's the funny thing about instant replay and looking at the replays, and we talk about this a lot now that it's part of baseball, two different sets of eyes can look at the same play and come up with two completely.
Right.
You and I are both looking at it thinking, oh my, he looks like
That was
maybe he's
close.
safe.
He
I look
been.
over to Jim Price from the Tigers radio. He said, no, he's out.
Okay.
So it all depends on who's looking at it.
Well, that's a former catcher, mind you. That he got that tag down.
You're saying one too many hits in the head? This is blooped, and Michael Martinez won't get that one. Aguilar grabs it, throws it to third, but in safely is J.D. Martinez, and the Tigers have runners at the corners. And for Clevenger, not a lot he can do about those last couple of balls that have blooped in.
No. I mean, with Aguilar holding the runner, this one is just sliced, and it was not hit very hard, and you can see the distance of it. It was probably about 140 feet in the air, and Martinez couldn't get over there. He had a long way to go from second base. It was actually just blooped over Aguilar's head. So that falls as a hit. That's already 4 hits now in the first inning, and a couple of good defensive plays to get the outs for Clevenger.
Eric Ibar, switch hitting third baseman. And take another look at this play.
One more look. Boy, it's awfully close no matter whether he's safe or out. You know, if the umpire called him safe, it would be a tough one to challenge too.
Tigers might feel like it's too close to get it overturned this early in the game, but it's one of those plays that could be a huge swing.
Well, then you get, after he's thrown out, you get 2 more base hits.
Yeah.
You know, now when you look at it. But it was awfully close. Umpire was right on the play. He got a good look at it.
Ibar not in agreement, and he's in the hole 1 and 2. I think he should be lucky he's not already struck out, because that first pitch that he called a ball looked like it was right down the middle.
Oh man, that's high. We saw a lot of high strikes yesterday.
Yeah.
In yesterday's ball game, high inside. It was a pitcher strike zone, as we mentioned all night.
And that bat exploded
right off the end.
Multiple pieces in different directions.
The umpire is doing the groundwork. There's about 3 pieces that came off the end of that bat. There you'll see it. One landed in fair, the other piece landed in foul territory.
Looked like he was swinging a piece of balsa wood. So still a 1-2 count as Clevenger tries to navigate his way through the inning. Two runs on 4 hits for Detroit. And with 2 aboard, that's a crucial out for Clevenger. Strikes him out to end the inning. So Detroit gets a pair, and they lead it 2-0 after 1. And it will be Carlos Santana, Brandon Guyer, and Jesus Aguilar. You know, Rick, I was doing some radio interviews this afternoon, and one of the questions that I was asked was, you know, about the play of particular players this year and the managing of Terry Francona. And I was talking about it and really got to thinking, I don't know that we've given Terry enough credit. And I know he doesn't want it. He tries to deflect it even if you try to give it to him. But the job that he did this year with Carlos Santana has maybe somewhat been overlooked from the standpoint that here's a player who's batted in the middle of the lineup since he was a rookie in the major leagues.
Right.
He's essentially in a contract year with a big option, a club option for next season. So imagine the hesitance for a guy like that as he sends a long drive to right field, but it will be caught for out number 1. To move from the middle of the order to the leadoff position, where you know you're going to sacrifice RBIs, you're going to lose run production going into that contract year, and maybe your leverage wouldn't be as good. A lot of things go into play. It's not as simple as just saying, hey, you're going to bat here, you're going to bat there. Terry had to sell it to him and get him to believe and buy in, and that is not as simple as it sounds.
No, but we just showed you his first at-bat. It came against Verlander, and his first time in that leadoff spot, he hit a 3-2 fastball in for the home run. So maybe that gave him a little confidence right out of the chute. But you're right, it's not an easy thing to balance when certain hitters are used to hitting in a spot in the lineup, and that's pretty much in the middle, as you said.
Oh, man, Brandon Guyer low-bridged Verlander with a line shot right back up the middle.
Oh, he's going to get up and dust himself off.
First hit of the night for Cleveland. Watch this.
Boy, he did. That was a see you later. He had to hit the deck. Boy, and he's lucky that it wasn't at him, because he wouldn't have got out of the way of that one.
Yeah, you almost hate to laugh anymore because we've seen too many of those that don't turn out well. We've seen them right here in Cleveland, unfortunately. Just to kind of finish up the point, I also think Carlos Santana deserves a lot of credit for being selfless enough to say, okay, that's fine, I'll do that.
Well,
because we know that's not always the case in this day and age. A player could, oh man, he nailed Cabrera right in the kneecap with that throw, and that couldn't have felt good.
You know, he throws the first base as much as any pitcher over there, but when you have a guy, Guyer, I don't know why he throws over there as much as he does. I mean, if you have base stealers, it's one thing. Guyer's not a base stealer, and that ball catches Cabrera right on the kneecap.
He threw it in the dirt, and Miguel really had no chance to try and dig it out. He tried, but right now he doesn't want Verlander's sympathy. What I'd really like is for you to not throw over here 15 times.
Go back to the mound and throw the ball to home plate.
And it looks like he's okay. It's just probably not feeling real good.
No, it's not. That's got to be a stinger right there.
Watch Verlander. Yeah, my bad.
Uh-oh. Yeah. Yeah, not a wise decision. Like I said, if you have a base stealer on there, you're okay. But Guyer's only attempted 4 stolen bases on the year, and he's made 3 of them, but he's not a base stealer.
Well, Rick, it's almost like when you think back to what, not the same thing, but remember when Carlos Carrasco got sort of in that funk there for a while?
He sure did.
Throwing over and over and over again.
Now we know our own Josh Tomlin is a guy that throws to first base a lot, right? He's thrown over to first base. Josh has 158 times this year, which we say sometimes a guy's not even off the bag and he throws over there. Verlander has thrown over 244 times to first base. Now, what's that tell you? You talk about it's got to be in your head.
I would classify that as OCD.
It was. I mean, there can't be that many base stealers in the league that you got to worry about.
I wonder how many times he's going to throw over there now after that.
I bet none. Cabrera may just step out of the way and let it go past next time.
You might go to that look. You throw over here one more time, you're not going to finish this game.
But, you know, I guess they're creatures of habit. And once you get used to doing something, it just happens. And there it is. He comes over again.
And Miguel's probably saying, fine, if you hit me in the chest, I'm okay with it. Don't throw any more of those balls in the dirt, though. I'm not a catcher.
Hoppers.
I don't have shin guards on. Got in on him, and it's fouled back. Jesus Aguilar this year at AAA Columbus batted .247, 30 homers. He drove in 92 and had 26 doubles. Just his 4th at bat since getting the September call-up. Oh, a high strike, but it's been called tonight.
Is that a cutter right there, I think?
It looked like it. Just a little bit of movement away.
You know, it's cut fastball. You see, it's not a slider.
Right.
But, you know, you can tell he slows his arm down a little bit where it looks like he's just trying to learn this pitch, as a matter of fact, because I haven't seen him throw a cutter.
I don't think he advertises the fact that he throws it, but we're seeing it. There was a straight 4-seamer upstairs, and a count 2-2.
Well, this is the thing that the Indians teams have done to Verlander in the past. They've been able to work him and make him throw a lot of pitches. And I think that's one of the keys. He had a quick 1-2-3 first inning, but you get a base runner, and you can see he starts messing around. You see it. You know how many pitches he throws. He's a horse. He throws as many as anybody.
I wanted you to take a look at Aguilar. Is it unusual in this day and age to see a guy he seems like he's really off the plate? More guys today seem like they want to be closer on the plate. He seems like he's really off.
Well, he's a big guy. He likes to extend the arms, and he has that plate coverage. Haven't seen him hit enough to really get a feel for him, but he likes to hit the ball the other way. So that tells you.
It might be just because he is so big. He maybe looks like he's farther off the plate than he really is.
And you look, and he probably dares you to throw it out there. He still probably tells you when guys like that, that's a great pitch.
And it will be a strike him out, throw him out, double play. Geyer tried to avoid the tag.
Did he tag him?
But I guess Kinsler got him. The Indians are going to take another look.
I would. It looked like, unless he got him in the helmet, Matt, it didn't look like he tagged him.
I think he did. Right there, he got him on the shoulder. Nice job by Kinsler.
Okay.
And the inning is over. So we've played an inning and a half. It's Detroit 2, Cleveland nothing.
MLB.com @bat app. You can stay connected all season long with radio broadcasts, video highlights, stats, news, and more. Download MLB.com @bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your smartphone and tablet.
And even though the games are winding down, they'll keep you up to date all off season long too, because the crazy thing about baseball, like I guess like every sport now, as soon as the World Series is over, man, the hot stove fires up, and it's one.
Yes,
every day there's a new rumor, a story out, somebody who's going where.
There's always talk, always something going on.
James McCann leading off this second inning for Detroit, batting 8th, and he grounds one up the middle. That's already 5 hits for Detroit.
Yeah, they are 5 out of their first 7. There you go. Pitch it mid-thigh, and McCann takes it right back up the middle.
Jose Iglesias takes a look at ball 1. A little bit inside, 2-0. There's a strike. And that spins him out of the way, 3-1. Pretty obvious that Mike's having a tough time just commanding the baseball on any kind of consistent basis here tonight. And these are those nights that pitchers, they either embrace it and really love it because they've got to try to compete with every ounce of their being, or they just hate it because the ball's not going where you want it, and you let the frustration get the better of you.
That's right now. Clevenger's not in a rhythm. You know, he talks about how he's got to be up tempo and things like that to feel good. They're trying to get him in a quicker rhythm. This is not a lineup you want to fall behind. This is a lineup you're going to have to be aggressive with and force them to maybe swing early. But when you fall behind, they get very disciplined, and there's too many good hitters in this lineup. He's walking a tightrope right now.
3-2 pitch, runner goes, and a ground ball. Nice diving stop by Aguilar. He'll get the out at first. McCann moves into scoring position. Boy, the big man showing some range with his diving ability. Taking a hit away from Iglesias.
The defense has bailed out Clevenger tonight so far. This is a nice play. This ball hit in the hole. If Aguilar doesn't come up with it, it's 1st and 3rd. So a nice play. He gets to the bag. They had McCann off and running on the 3-2 pitch. They felt he'd put it in play. Iglesias does, and they get him out. Good play.
So 1 on, 1 out. McCann at second, and Ian Kinsler, the batter, he walked and scored his first time up. Nice off-speed pitch. You can see kind of buckled Kinsler.
That's the curveball that I like to see him throw. I mean, it takes something off of his fastball. You know, his slider sometimes can be very flat. That curveball can help him out to go with that changeup and his fastball.
And he comes right back and gets ahead now, 1-2. Perfect pitch, painted the outside corner at the knees, and that is his second strikeout of the night. 2 down in the inning.
All 3 strikes he had a curveball to him, a changeup, and now the slider, and it sort of locks him up. He thought that ball was going to go away. That's on the outside edge at the knees. That's a very good pitch. So gets the second out of the inning and his second strikeout.
Mike Clevenger, originally a 4th-round pick of the Angels back in 2011. Traded to the Indians 2 years ago. And this year, back in August, he started against the Angels. Had to wait a couple hours because the game was the start was delayed by rain, but it was worth the wait. He was dynamite, probably his best performance so far in his rookie campaign. He dominated. The first 17 hitters retired before Andrelton Simmons singled in the left field. All told, he went 5 2/3, allowing 1 run on 1 hit. The 1-1, his first major league win, and obvious for him the sense of irony that it came against the team that had traded him to Cleveland. So he said for him, yeah, it was a little bit of a storybook ending for that first major league win.
Yeah, you always want to do well against the club that trades you.
Now the 1-2 to Maben. That's a little low, and it evens the count. But Mike, like so many young pitchers, you know, he missed a year and a half with the Tommy John surgery and all that entails coming back from that. Now the 2-2. Just missed, or was that ball 4? I guess that was ball 4. So there are 2 on with 2 out, and Miguel Cabrera coming to the plate. And that's another example of a young pitcher and trying to work his way through. You've got to challenge Maben. You don't want to have to face Cabrera.
I would not think so.
Not that he wasn't trying to, but this guy can do some damage.
He fell behind him in his last at bat, and you can see he gets the ball out over the plate. And Cabrera, he does that with regularity. When you have to throw him a strike, he doesn't try to pull it. He looks for that ball out over the plate. And the Indians have had success against him this year because they've been able to pitch him inside and make him use his hands. They called for it the first time.
That is hammered deep center, and it is gone. Miguel Cabrera with a mammoth drive to straightaway center field. It's a 2-out, 3-run homer and a 5-0 Tigers lead.
And Cabrera has driven in all 5.
Nobody's happier than Verlander, who spiked the toss to first and almost knocked him out of the game.
Well, they wanted to go inside first of all, and he didn't get it there. And again, it's going to be down the middle. It's a changeup, and it goes straight away. Look at this, out over the plate. He keeps his hands back so well, and it's about 430 feet, 35 feet from home plate, and he just smoked it into the bushes in center field. So for Cabrera, he hits his 35th. He has 102 RBIs tonight, and he's picked up 5 in his first 2 at bats. So I guess that shows you don't want to walk Maben to get to
Cabrera. Now Victor gaps one to left center. And he's off and running towards second. Strong throw by Naquin, and Victor is out to end the inning. But the Tigers making a lot of noise early. A 2-run double from Cabrera in the first, a 3-run homer here in the second. Don't go away. We're going to visit with Rajai Davis when we come back. Third inning, and we're going to go downstairs to Andre Knott.
Thank you very much, Matt. We have Rajai Davis sitting here with us in between the game or as the game goes along. Now, I've asked Francisco Lindor to have our back and watch us and take care of us. Do you think he has us?
Well, he definitely got some good hands, quick reaction, but I don't know if he's going to be able to stop a screaming ball that's coming at us. It might hit you before it hit me, though.
That's why you put me in this side, right?
Well, I didn't say that, but if that's the way you took it, that works for me.
When you decided to sign here with the Indians, what made them seem like the attractive team to come to after playing here in Detroit? Obviously, you were able to see them 19 times a year. What made this team the team that you wanted to come to? And did you forecast an AL Central championship?
Well, I mean, you could just see the talent that was on the field every time we played the Indians, the resilience, just the pitching staff, the defense, the potential. It's so much potential that you could just see watching, from the other side of the dugout. Just being able to play against them and play against that pitching staff, which is so tough on the opposing hitters. That right there is like, okay, so where did I sign?
How much does it mean to you that the team clinched here last night, a place where you've played a lot of games and seen a lot of things happen?
I've only seen clinch, 2 times in my professional, career in the playoffs, and they've both been at this field. So I mean, that's been something special, to be able to celebrate here.
We've had a couple games here this year that we've had some interesting ends to games. We had the one on the Friday night where you were playing out there and no one knew if you caught the ball or not. I think we had the wild game in Chicago, but when you go back to that game where you caught the ball out here, and this obviously is a different outfield. I remember you talking earlier to Tyler Naquin. What goes through your mind in a play like that when you're running back, when your back's against the wall, basically?
Well, I mean, we're just trying to get to the ball. The ball was up there for long enough for us to actually, for me to run under it, and I was fortunate enough to get to the ball and focused enough to actually keep my concentration. When the ball hit off the heel of my glove and kind of bounced up, I was like, uh-oh, there it is. It's popping out. I got to go get it, and to catch it before it hits the fence was just remarkable. And I'm just thankful, that was in my hands. My thoughts were all right, and, we were able to throw that ball in and get a double play and in the game.
When you win the AL Central, is that a boom, a bang? What exactly were you supposed to call that last night?
That's actually D. That's all the above. That's bang, boom, and booyah.
You never told us the booyah.
That's that booyah right there.
All right, so look about the outfield. I know obviously you've played all over. You played a little bit more earlier in the season when Tyler Naquin was going up and down. Talk about the job Tito Francona has done and making you guys a productive group, even though it's not done maybe like everyone else has done it.
Say it again. I'm obsessed.
You guys have been productive as an outfield. You've been one of the most productive outfields in baseball. And it's taken 6, 7 guys. You have Geyer and Chisenhall, yourself, Naquin. Ramirez was with you for a little while. He bounced around. What does Tito do in your mind to keep you guys all prepared and ready?
Well, I mean, for one, he tries not to let us sit too long. You know, he tries to get us in there, tries to keep us fresh. He's done an excellent job at that. Just trying to keep us more involved in the game, even when we're not playing. You know, pinching here, pinching in there, throwing you out in the outfield, just keeping you involved in the game and making you feel a part of pretty much every game. You feel like you're a part of. If you're not in the game, you're actually getting ready because you might get in the game, and that's every day.
Well, even in yesterday's clinching game, you were able to get a big stolen base, a third base. It was close. I think you elbowed the ball out. Did you think at this age you could lead the American League in stolen bases coming into the year?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I was just given an opportunity. I felt like I could still with anybody in this league. But it's just you got to have the opportunity, and unfortunately for me, I've been able to get that opportunity and thankful for it, and I'm appreciative.
I know playing in the playoffs is a big deal for you, and you got about a week to prepare. 6 more games, 5 more games. You got a hit right there. I just heard it. That's Gonzalez. Oh, yeah. Fun watching these young guys get hits?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. We get to watch them play for a little bit. I mean, it's nice to watch the guys that are coming after you, and, the guys are going to fill that role. And, it's nice to actually have them up here so they can, see what the everyday guys are doing every day, day in, day out, so they get an idea of what it takes to win at this level.
What is it going to take for this team to win in the playoffs and continue playing the style that they've played? Because you guys play a different style, and I know Tito's gone out of the way and talking about what you and Knapp have done for this team running the bases. Can that same aggressive style that you guys have played for 150-some-odd games play out in October as well?
Well, I mean, if it's worked up to this point, it'll work in the playoffs, and I think we just got to continue to put that pressure on them. And if we just score more runs than everyone else, then we don't have no problems.
Yeah, just score more runs.
Just score more runs than everyone else. We gonna win.
That sounds like something Rick Manning would say. I think you could help Rick Manning out. He would tell us that too. He would just say, "Yeah, if you score more runs, you win the game."
Yeah, no. Obviously, we want to go out there and pitch well. We want to play good defense. We don't want to be pulling our hairs out, in pressure situations. But we want to go out there and be offensive minded. We want to attack the baseball. We want to be aggressive on the base. We want to put pressure on the defense, and that has worked for us all year. Why change now?
We've enjoyed watching you able to do this. It only took 2 outs and some time for Trevor Bauer and guys to figure out to start throwing stuff at us. And usually it's pretty quick. I can tell he's a little slow today.
Yeah, a good point. Yeah, I think the guys are still recuperating a little bit, but it's definitely fun. That we were able to get a little day. Tito gave a lot of the guys days, and just go back and get them come back tomorrow or even later on today if it's possible.
How important is home field advantage, and we'll let you go possibly after that. But you guys have played obviously very good baseball at home, and you're a game out, half game out from that #1 seed. How much do you guys pay attention to that now that we're at this point?
Well, I think now we're paying a little bit more attention to it. Obviously, we want to go out there and just win out. That would just make it a lot more easier, and then we could say, we gave it our all. But even if it doesn't happen like that, and we finish whatever we finish, we still got to go out and play. We still got to go out there and win, regardless of where we're at. What seed we're at. We got to go out there and score runs and play better than anyone else.
Show everybody the wristbands for tonight. Will you have any playoff wristbands? Because those aren't the go-go speed racers.
We got some playoff ones coming in. They're en route right now as we speak. Actually,
they're en route. Now, can you give a secret of what they may look like? Because people always say to me, they always tweet and they say, "What is on his wrist?" I go, "It's a picture of Raj."
A picture of me, just in case I forget what I look like. I'll take a peek. Man, I feel good. I'm in the show. Now you know. Bam.
I know there's still. That's a good way to close things up.
He is the best.
All right. So what was it? Bang, boom, and booyah, right?
Booyah.
That's what we expect in the playoffs. Thanks so much, Raj. It's been a joy watching you this year.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Back to you, booyah, Matt.
Oh man, how do you top that? Well, we'll try when we come back. On the night to stay tuned later in the game for Miller Time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen is for Percy Garner. Mike Clevenger just 2 innings of work tonight. Knocked out 5 runs on 7 hits, walked 2, and struck out 2. Percy Garner.
His 8th appearance of the year. 8 1/3 innings. Has given up 10 hits, 10 strikeouts.
Percy made his major league debut on the last day of August. Started at Double-A, moved up to the Clippers, and overall had 7 wins, a loss, 7 saves, a 2.06 ERA, and 41 appearances. And I think it's been, I don't want to say an audition because that sounds, it's not the right terminology, but
how about an opportunity to open some eyes?
He's getting chances, and you're right, an opportunity to show that maybe he warrants a spot on the postseason roster. Whether or not that comes to fruition will be up to how the composition of that final roster is determined. But he's getting chances to show that, do you belong as a rookie or not?
Well, he has good stuff. He's got great movement on his pitches. Now the key is, can he harness that and throw them for strikes? I think one of the questions is the secondary pitches. You know, at times we've seen a couple times where he has an excellent breaking ball when he can throw it for strikes, and that movement on his fastball it's all a matter of hitting that strike zone and being consistent and repeating. See that there's a good curveball, and he got the swing and he got the out.
Strikes out JD Martinez, 1 away. And you take another look at the bite on that breaking ball.
I mean, now he's never faced Martinez before, and Martinez doesn't know what actually he has, but you can see he has quality stuff.
Well, one of the issues, guys, he had with his off-speed pitches is before he came up from Columbus, he wasn't throwing the curve very well, and he was throwing a changeup. And he didn't have a lot of confidence in throwing the changeup when he got out here. And I think Chris Jimenez said, hey, if you have that pitch, you have to throw it here. You can't hide from it.
Right. That's true. I mean, and that's the one thing. You have to have secondary pitches you can throw for strikes in the major leagues if you're going to succeed. You can't be afraid to throw any pitch. Now you don't want to throw your third best pitch to hitters. You know, at times you want to get ahead and put them away with what he just did. When you can throw strikes and get to 2 strikes, then you can throw your secondary pitches, and they don't necessarily have to be for strikes.
Now, Matt, we'll talk about Matt and Rick. When you watch when Percy's been brought into games, I heard you guys talk about how he wants to be on the playoff roster. Do you think Tito and these guys have put him in situations against certain hitters to see how he reacts? Because if you look at it, he's faced middle of the lineup type of guys a lot of times when he's come out of the bullpen.
Very well could have. No question, Andre. You know, why wouldn't they want to put him up? You don't want to just put somebody in to face maybe the 7, 8, 9 guys. You want to see him go through some truly great hitters in the game.
There's so much more than goes into it than just velocity and movement and pure stuff. And I think as Andre has kind of set this conversation up, they want to see how will he react? Will he put too much pressure on himself to succeed so that he can win a spot on the postseason roster potentially? I mean, all of those things go into play here because you don't know when you're talking about a rookie getting his first shot. You just don't know how. As we've seen so many times, you'll see a young pitcher sort of dominate his way through the minor leagues, and maybe his first taste of really getting his hat handed to him comes right here at the big league level. How do they respond to that?
Well, we're getting a chance to see, and it's about commanding the baseball. He's thrown 9 pitches, 6 of them have been out of the zone. This is where it's a 5-0 ball game. You have to come in and be aggressive. You know, I know you want to throw great pitches, but you can't be perfect with everyone. You've got to be aggressive in the strike zone.
Charlie Nagy, to me, is still one of the best examples of that age-old pitching axiom, trust your stuff.
Yeah.
And Charlie Nagy would never wow anybody with the radar gun. He didn't have a fall off the table breaking ball. But what he did was he challenged hitters. He trusted the movement on his pitches, and he attacked the strike zone. And if you try to be too fine at this level as a young pitcher, it doesn't work usually.
Yeah, these hitters, they don't swing at pitches 2 inches off the plate like they do in the minor leagues. And you just, sometimes young pitchers give hitters too much credit. You know, saying, oh, I've seen this guy hit before on television. He can, you know, you make a mistake. That's not the case. You know what? Find out for yourself. Throw strikes and see what they can hit. You'll have to make adjustments along the way.
You know, I thought of something funny as he was just rubbing the ball up there. You see he had his wedding ring on. He has the same one that Brian Shaw has. When you think about this year, that's one of those moments. You remember when Brian Shaw had to take his off? Now we see guys all across Major League Baseball.
That was here, wasn't it?
It was here. And Brad Ausmus stopped the game. And I find it funny. Percy Gardner's in it. He does it. You don't see anybody running out stopping him with it.
That went into the crowd right over the Tigers dugout. They're checking to make sure everybody's okay down there, and a little pause in the action just to be sure. Now, Andre, he's got the rubberized version, so that's okay, right? Nobody's going to make a big stink about that.
You wouldn't think so, but that's what Brian Shaw has about 15 different ones, but they're all rubber, and it's the same ring. They have the same type rings. I just find it kind of funny that we were here in Detroit. Was that April or May? April 24th. We were here and they stopped the game and it became a big thing. Now, you know, months later, we see a guy take the ball out and do it, and no one's saying a word from Detroit.
Well, I guess 14-2 will do that, won't it?
You telling me Verlander may have one next year?
There you see the rubberized version of the wedding ring, just so that won't happen, so you won't get called in. Because if you've got a metal band on, wedding band, well, then you could obviously potentially scuff the
Cut
baseball.
it up.
But if you don't, well, I don't think you're going to be able to scuff it with that little rubber band.
You wouldn't think so.
Now the 3-2 runner goes, and check swing call to strike, and that's a double play, and that will end the inning. 3 complete from the Motor City. Percy Garner puts up the first 0 of the night for the Indians pitching staff. They trail at 5-0. We're going to flash it back. We talked about it earlier. This was back in April. Brad Ausmus had him go out and check Brian Shaw for the wedding ring. He wanted to make sure he's not scuffing the baseball with a wedding ring. Brian's like, it's rubber, man. It's made out of rubber. But he said, you know what? I'll just take it off. And he had to be taken out of that game eventually. Wasn't happy about it. Just another chapter in the old rivalry.
Yeah, of a year long of baseball games. You're right. Trying to get gamesmanship.
Backhanded at first. And Miguel Cabrera retires Michael Martinez, 1 down. Time for an in-game update. Back to the studios and Al Pawlowski. Well, what's that giving Al? Is he at 19?
20.
Yeah, it gives him 20.
Yeah, it is 20.
Wow. So,
in a hurry.
That's another guy. We were just talking about it yesterday. The number of home runs, the number of guys who've hit 20 this year.
Yeah.
That's the record now, I think. I think that.
It's up over 120. I know that, wasn't it?
I think it was 103 players had hit 20. I think that's. Strike call on outside edge. Yeah, it's been a crazy year.
Well, that kid came up right from the start, hitting home runs, and he hasn't quit.
And that's a quick strikeout. 6 for Verlander, 2 down on the 4th. Murph said Gary Sanchez's career high was 18 home runs in the minor leagues.
Yeah, for a whole year.
That's for a whole year.
I know. He's been up here for 2 months, and he's hit 20. Remarkable.
All right, let me go back here. See if I can find it before we go to the break here. Yeah, so he's the 104th player now. That's the all-time record with 20 home runs.
Wow. And yeah, looking for answers, figuring why so many guys have hit it.
Oh, 1 pitch to Carlos Santana, who flied to deep right his first time up. Yeah, if you haven't had a chance to check it out, Jeff Passan, Yahoo Sports, yahoo.com. He's got a great story about the year of the home run. And he writes in his story, some have theorized juiced baseballs, some others have suggested an influx of undetectable PEDs. You know, he also writes that averaging 8 strikeouts per 9 innings in every game. So he says the desire to sell out for home runs is greater maybe than ever.
Well, yeah, you're right. They don't frown upon striking out anymore, anything like they used to. So if you can go up there and swing hard in case you hit it, you are going to get more home runs. But that many?
Santana was trying to dial long distance, but 97 miles an hour from Verlander equals his 7th strikeout of the night. Greater coverage of baseball. So Jose Ramirez and Chris Bryant have both started multiple games in the outfield and at third base.
Wow.
And it's kind of rare what they've been able to accomplish this year, given all the time they spent at 2 different positions, 2 very different positions.
Yeah, Tony Phillips, we remember him. He played anywhere and everywhere and did it for a while here in Detroit. I would say that both of them are great athletes when you look at Ramirez and Bryant.
Oh, up and in. Garner drills James McCann. And they'll head down to first.
That one just took off. Right when it left his hand, that was gone. There was no chance for McCann to get out of the way of that ball. And man, that's not fun when you're a hitter. Yeah.
I thought it hit him in the side or the shoulder initially.
No. He couldn't get out of the way. There's no way you could got out of the way of that.
Jose Iglesias grounded out to first his first time up, but it was more a case where Jesus Aguilar robbed him of a hit. Missed off speed away, and it's 1-1. Percy Garner worked a scoreless third, staying on to work here in the fourth.
Well, would you say he's effectively wild because he struck out 2? He's walked a guy. They ended up throwing him out on the strike 3 call, and he's hit a guy.
Yeah,
so he's all over the place.
I would say that's spot on, and Mike Clevenger had trouble with his command as well. And look, this is I know it's September call-ups and you've got ample arms on the ready, but given that Mike Clevenger only went 2 innings tonight, and you're going to start Zach McAllister tomorrow, so
right.
He's not going to give you more than probably 2 innings. You're really having to lean heavily on that bullpen now.
Well, look at it this way. Somebody's going to have to give up some innings.
Yeah. And they do have some guys in the bullpen that were essentially starters this year in the minors. So from a stamina standpoint, they should have the ability to do that. And in the hole, a base hit by Iglesias. McCann stops at second.
Well, he kept his hands back and ended up hitting that breaking ball in the hole between short and third. Let's see if he didn't get it down, but that's where that guy likes it. He likes the ball down in the zone, but kept him back enough to slap it in the left field. That is hit number 8 now for the Tigers. And they have another inning rolling. First and second, nobody out as Armstrong gets up in the Indians bullpen.
Ian Kinsler walked and scored in the first, struck out his last time up. And a strike called. And a foul by Kinsler. And he's in the hole 0-2.
Now let's see the difference here with Percy when he gets ahead of the hitter 0-2 as opposed to being behind almost every hitter he's been around.
Base hit left field. They're going to wave home McCann. Here's the throw to the plate, and he's safe. Throw down to second. Safe there. And it's 6-0 Detroit. Now Garner had him in the hole 0-2, but Kinsler singled to left. Geyer made a pretty good throw to home plate. I thought at first they had a shot to get McCann.
Yeah, but watch when it comes home. Moore holds the ball a little bit as Kinsler's going to second base on the throw home. He didn't realize he was up. He hesitated. If he would have realized it a little sooner, he would have got Kinsler at second base, I think. So there's where Kinsler just took off and went to second base, but I think they might have had a better chance at him if he realized he was running. And we're going to get timeout, and out comes Terry Francona. And he's making the call to the bullpen.
So Percy Garner goes an inning plus 3 batters, a run in, 2 aboard. And we've got a timeout in Detroit with our score: the Tigers 6 and the Indians nothing.
By purchasing next year's Indian season tickets, you will get priority access to all postseason games, plus opening day, team shop discounts, access to Tribe Rewards, and more. Visit Indians.com/postseason for more details.
You'll get the priority access for the League Championship Series and the World Series potential games with that season ticket package if you choose to take advantage of that. Shawn Armstrong making his 10th appearance with an ERA of .312. He's walked 4, struck out 7 in 8 2/3. In the dirt, ball 1. Shawn Armstrong trying to get out of a jam that has seen the Tigers score another run, and they've got 2 in scoring position with nobody out. Cameron Maybin doubled and scored in the first, walked and scored in the second after going 0 for 5 last night. Breaking ball in for a strike. Boy, Milwaukee, what's gotten into them? They're leading Texas 3-0 again in the second inning.
They beat them pretty good last night.
Threw it by him, and it's 1-2.
They beat them 8-3 last night.
Just a spoil job by Maybin. That's a nice play. So the dude's just walking down the concourse with his glove, and he runs up and makes the play like he was waiting for it.
Right place at the right time, I guess.
In the dirt, 2-2.
Let's see what you're talking about. Oh, nice.
That's great. Had it all the way.
Yes, he did. I have a feeling he comes to a few games with that glove, and he knows where to stand.
He knows where to stake it out. 2-2, and Maybin pops this one up. Playable maybe. Aguilar on the move. Makes the catch. 1 away. Stat of the game is brought to you by Buick. Among active players in those seasons with 35 homers and 100 driven in, Albert Pujols has done it 8 times, Ortiz 7, Miguel Cabrera 5. Now David Ortiz is 40 years old, he's retiring. Albert Pujols is 36, has a few more years left on his contract. Miguel Cabrera, who's being intentionally walked to the chagrin of the hometown faithful, is still only 33 years old. When it's all said and done, Rick, where do you think this guy's going to rank on some of the all-time lists?
He's going to be right up there because we showed you before his numbers at the same time in numbers of games and age as Hank Aaron. And he's right there with him with a lot of those offensive statistics. He could be one of the greatest, period, when it's all over.
You know, usually with these you say you add the caveat if he stays healthy. But with Cabrera, we've seen him play through injuries.
Yeah.
So it's not a matter of toughness because he'll play banged up, he'll play dinged up. As long as he doesn't suffer some sort of a catastrophic knock you out for a season kind of an injury.
The thing is, though, they have the DH now, and he can just hit, you know, at the end of that career. He doesn't have to play defense. Where Hank Aaron came along when I first started coming up, and he was the DH. It just, you know, came back into the game in '74.
Right.
So he was available to DH for a couple years, but he was at the end of his career, so he played right field most of the time in all those games. So he's going to get the opportunity to get a lot more games of just hitting, and he can fall out of bed and hit.
Well, and that's the other thing too. Hank Aaron could run.
Yes, he could.
Miguel Cabrera's earned every hit he's ever gotten.
Yeah, he doesn't run. That is true. Hank can run. He scored runs, drove them in. He was phenomenal.
Well, one thing we know for certain, should Miguel Cabrera choose to play until he's 40 years old, it won't be because he needs the money. He's already got more of that than he could spend in probably 2 or 3 lifetimes. Trying to think, because it seems like he signs a new extension every other year, but his current contract runs through 2023 with vesting options, mind you, for 24 and 25.
Okay. That's so.
He could play for another decade on his current contract, which would take him to age 43. Well, 42, I guess. But we shall see. In the meantime, this inning is just getting ugly. A run already in. The bases are loaded. And Armstrong is 3-0 to Victor Martinez.
Well, Victor hit a grand slam against Kansas City when they were down 7-0 on Saturday to bring him back. I believe it's his 5th career grand slam. It's 3-0, and we know Victor. He hasn't met a 3-0 pitch he never will swing at with the bases loaded.
He swings and hits into a double play.
Yeah.
That will end the inning. The Tigers add a run and lead it 6-0 through 4. by Levin Furniture. For the best deals on furniture and mattresses, shop Levin's. By your Northern Ohio Honda dealers. And by the Cleveland Clinic. Access anytime, anywhere. Beautiful night here in the Motor City. 66 at game time. Temperature still 62 degrees as we reach the 5th inning.
It's a long night for that youngster right there, right now.
Yeah. Brandon Guyer got the Indians' first hit, and it was a line smash right back up the middle.
He knocked Verlander to the ground.
You could say the Indians are suffering from a hangover effect and be quite literal. It was quite a party last night. Well deserved. But look, if you put your best lineup out there against Justin Verlander, it's going to be tough to score 6 runs.
Yeah, he's come back. He's really had a terrific year this year. We showed you the numbers in the open about after that one start where the Indians homered 4 times in an inning off him. Since that start, he has been great. There's a curveball, and he gets strikeout number 8. Well, when you look at his strikeouts tonight, 6 of the 8 have come on fastballs, high heaters. And he can dial it up there when he wants to reach back. But he gets you looking for stuff slow, and he puts you away fastballs. And then there you go with Uncle Charlie. It's Guyer right there. So he has 8 on the night. And Verlander, in his last start, he struck out 11 Minnesota Twins. That was the second game of a doubleheader.
Aguilar mashes one to deep center, but Maben gets back in time to catch it for out number 2. Here's Arcia in the driver's seat.
Since the All-Star break, I'll tell you what, he's been the best at 216. Porcello's been very good. Kluber right there. Irvin Santana, didn't realize that. But Verlander back to his old self. Logs 200 innings every year. He's done it 9 times. Came into tonight with 213.
Fouled right back.
Leading the league in strikeouts. Now has 242.
Popped up, back out of play. Justin Verlander taking his time, rocks into the line. Pitch number 55 is fouled back. And Jimenez checks on catcher James McCann, who bore the brunt of that foul ball. From one catcher to another, he knows how it feels. Though Jimenez not catching tonight, he's getting the start defensively at third base and hasn't hit a ball hit his way yet.
I think he'd be fine with that.
Chops one to the other third baseman, though, and Eric Ibar, an old hand there, throws him out. The Indians go in order. We're halfway through, 6-0 Detroit. Ohio for hometown coverage of the Indians throughout the postseason. Drennan Live will be on the air before every game right up until the first pitch. And then Indians Live hits the air immediately after the game with highlights, analysis. We'll have interviews from the clubhouse, stuff you won't get anywhere else. So forget the national shows. Follow your AL Central champs in the postseason on your home of the tribe right here, Sports Time, Ohio. J.D. Martinez takes a called strike. Yeah, I mentioned before that you can make a strong case that this is one of those days where the Indians might be suffering from a hangover effect. But baseball's so unpredictable. I remember back in 2001, the last day of the season, the night before that last day of that season, the Indians were in Toronto, and the boys had a team party, as they would usually do towards the end of the season, get everybody together, just kind of have a good time, celebrate the year. Nice play by Eric Gonzalez, spinning and making a perfect throw to get Martinez. And then, the next day would be the final game of the season, and that team was getting ready to go on and play the Mariners in the playoffs. And I remember it was a grand old time. Everybody had fun. And I remember thinking the next day, there's not a snowball's chance that the Indians are going to win this game against Toronto today. It didn't matter. It didn't matter in the standings. Everything was set. It was just one of those, okay, kind of like tonight, run your lineup out there, play the game. And when you know it, they went out. CC Sabathia pitched 5 innings. They won 3-2.
Yeah.
It's just like, how in the world did they pull it together and win that game? But they did.
Yeah, sometimes you just never know.
I think you run into that too in football. How many times as a team, they've already clinched the home field advantage. They're not going to play the starting quarterback. This guy's out. You figure there's no way they're going to win, and they end up, they win.
They continue to do this.
How does that happen, right? But as we've seen tonight, the real difference in baseball is the guy that takes the ball in the center of the nine.
Yes, it is. It certainly is. That dictates it. And they set the tempo in ball games, as we mentioned. Well, you can have a starter go out there, and when he's on and things are rolling, gets the ball, throwing strikes. It's got a nice tempo to it. It's a good ball game. People enjoy watching it. When you go out there and it started out like tonight, and the way Clevenger started it, that's not fun.
Yeah, when you're 3 batters in and it's already 2-0.
Right.
And you've got Justin Verlander on the hill who's been throwing it as well as he has it. It's not a good recipe. 2-1 to Upton. And he pulls it to short. Eric Gonzalez. Wow, Upton was upset. He slammed his bat down, barely got out of the batter's box. 2 down. Well, as promised earlier, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. The boys on the field getting an opportunity to play, and they made the most of it defensively. Martinez going up the ladder. Good throw from the outfield. Almonte to Moore. They get Miguel Cabrera at the plate. Watch Jesus Aguilar laying out at first base to steal a hit from Jose Iglesias.
If it wasn't for this defense tonight, the Tigers could have 10 runs on the board very easily. They've made some nice plays. The first out of the ball game, Martinez had to sky high to get that out off the bat of Victor Martinez. It took him from a hit and an RBI. So it's they played well defensively.
Went too far. Eric Ibar struck out to end the first and to end the third tonight.
Well, let's make it a trifecta and end the 5th. He's down 0-2.
Fouls it away. Grounds it to first, and Sean Armstrong retires the side in order. That's the first time the Indians have done that to Detroit here tonight.
Unstoppable drama. The 2016 postseason begins October 4th. You can visit Indians.com postseason for the full schedule.
Well, the Indians down 6. Adam Moore going to lead things off. Adam Moore, Eric Gonzalez, and Tyler Naquin. And a foul right back. In addition to the huge throng of Indians fans that were here last night to watch the Indians clinch the American League Central Division title, a number of front office personnel were here on hand. And various coaches from the minor leagues were here. Saw Paul Dolan in the clubhouse after the ball game.
He was here with family. Sure. Well, not often do you clinch. You got to enjoy it when you get it.
No Indian celebration would be complete without Marty Bokowitz either.
That is without it, no doubt.
You can't pop champagne in the clubhouse and put up the plastic and not have Marty be part of that. He brings a certain energy. He's a 5-tool player in that scenario. Let's just put it that way. High pop up, shallow right. Out goes Kinsler. One away. Our great clip of the game from last night. Roberto Perez, boy, did he have a big night. 3 hits going deep. He's taken his lumps this year for his inability to produce at the plate, but last night he came up big.
Yeah, in the 7th inning, that home run drove in a run, and also the 8th, so he stepped up. Threw out a runner at second base, did a nice job.
Well, they're definitely going to need him as they ready for October. We talked a lot about the injuries that have cropped up down the stretch here. Yan Gomes hit by pitch, broken wrist, knocking him out of action just when he was on the cusp of returning to the club. The injuries to the pitching staff, Carrasco and Danny Salazar. And then last night, Corey Kluber had to leave the game with the groin injury. He went back to Cleveland for an MRI, but he's back here with the ball club, and everything seems to be optimistic that this is not something that's going to keep him from pitching in October. And as we said, he's got
that's the
almost 10 days.
Yeah, you truly need you need them all. But with the way the bullpen has been for the Indians, you certainly need him.
And Andre, as he joins us from down in the dugout, any sense from the players, any apprehension on anybody's part, or do they feel like he's going to be just fine?
I even thought this last night, that before the game was over. When Carrasco was hurt, you could tell within the dugout there was some concern. When Salazar left the game early, you could tell there was some concern. Last night, guys didn't seem as worried. I think probably because Corey's walking around, moving around, and he seemed to have the same. And I know everyone else doesn't see this, but he's kind of had that same personality that he always has. So, no, there isn't a ton of concern. I think they just feel like he's going to be out there when he's needed. Now, the other guys to kind of talk about would be Danny Salazar, who's threw again today. He threw up the mound. He threw about 25 pitches yesterday at 70%.
Right.
He's going to keep doing that over the next couple of days, and there's a chance that he possibly could get into a game. But they're trying to get him ready for the playoffs, and so far everything has gone good. Now, he's only throwing about 75%.
That's okay.
And that's, and I was going to ask you guys, that's a weird thing. If you get in the playoffs and say it's, next Friday, can you trust throwing him right out there in a game without being able to put him in? There's no minor league games.
I don't know if it could be a start. I mean? Yeah, I don't think it would be a start.
No, he's going to go out of the bullpen exclusively if he comes back.
Right.
I think in a perfect world, maybe before now and Sunday, there's an opportunity to get him into a game.
Right.
But he'd have to continue to progress. And the one thing I know Mickey talked about is that it's always about tomorrow. How do you feel the next day?
Right.
You throw off the mound, you throw out the 120 feet, all those things. You've got to build up and then come back the next day and still feel good. If all of that progresses with no hiccups or any steps backward, then maybe there's a chance he could get into a game before the weekend's over, and you just get a better idea then.
Well, time is going against him, but I know he's trying. He was back out here first thing today. He was one of the first guys out here to throw again today. And I thought something last night that we found out from Carlos Carrasco that jumped out of nowhere. I know he had to have that cast on his hand for 4 weeks. He's on 2 weeks. He's 2 weeks away from getting it off. And he said to me, if I get it off in 2 weeks and everything feels all right and we can get throwing, if this team gets far enough, I feel like I can help us if we get to, deep into the Division Series or get into the World Series.
Well, you just never know nowadays.
I just know that we've seen the impossible happen too many times to discount anything at this stage.
Well, Kurt Schilling's sock is somewhere, and I think the manager's on our side, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you just, it's hard to predict. And, I mean, we can sit down, you can speculate, you can ask everybody, and everybody has their own opinions. You just have to wait and see and hope.
Hey, when an athlete, a professional athlete at that, is truly motivated, you don't bet against him. Full count. Now, I brought this up earlier today. I was talking to somebody, I think I was doing a radio interview, and I said, hey, remember, Jack Youngblood once played in the Super Bowl with a fractured leg. So, an athlete can convince himself to do what normal people wouldn't even consider.
Well, that is true.
Full count here for Naquin as he tries to spark the Indians. And that looked like the same pitch.
No, what's funny? That pitch was better than the one before because Naquin had to say something. He said that pitch is not a strike. The 3-1, it was up. This was a better pitch, and it was called a ball. He gave him the 3-1 pitch. That's a strike if the other one was a strike. So he ends up walking his first. And that's why Verlander looked in.
So 2 on, 1 out, and Michael Martinez will bat. He's 0 for 2 tonight. Andre, I don't know about you, but I couldn't help last night but feel a little sympathy for both Yan Gomes and Michael Brantley, because here's two guys that so badly want to be part of this thing on the field, and they're in there and they know they can't play.
Yeah, it was tough. Jan, I was able to talk to for a couple minutes, and I know Michael Brantley, he stood on the other side. I know you were on one side of the clubhouse. I was on the other, and at one point I asked him if he wanted to come on, and he looked at me and he said, this is their time, and he didn't want anything to do with it, but you could tell in his face that this is frustrating. This isn't how he had things planned out. And I talked to him throughout the night, and I know Josh Tomlin went out of his way, and Josh said, I know Brant's not playing. He goes, but even in the 7th inning last night, he goes, he's helping guys, talking, hitting with guys. He's back in the cages in between innings helping guys. He says that we would rather him be in left field, but he said he's been the best teammate in the world throughout this. And he goes, it was knowing the word. And he goes, and he had to talk him into being here because he didn't want to be around. He didn't want to take away from people. But I'm absolutely with you. It was tough being around those guys because you know what this means to them.
It's almost like the reality sunk in. Yeah. You know what I mean? Oh, here we are. We're going to the postseason, and I can't play.
Well, and the difference is that, you know, Salazar and Carrasco, there's still a chance for those guys. And I think last night actually energized them.
Right.
You know, like, I'm going to come back, man. I got to be part of this. I'm going to do this. But for Michael and Jan, it was more the reality. I can't. I don't have a chance. There's no shot for me. And it's tough. It's frustrating because you want so badly to be part of it.
Well, think about Jan, how close he was to being there.
I know.
No kidding.
A day.
One day.
An at-bat.
Right. He was just there. And, I mean, I know he caught a bullpen with Trevor Bauer yesterday. He's still trying. But, I mean, you're getting to that point. He hasn't had enough at-bats. He hasn't played. I don't know how much he can really help at this point in time. At least he's been really close a couple times, and it's just not working out for him.
Michael Martinez rung up, and there are 2 down in the inning, as Justin Verlander registers his 9th strikeout of the night.
Just stayed with a steady diet of breaking balls to Martinez, and Martinez trying to back away from him with a good pitch. Number 9 for Verlander. One more. He's looking for double digits. That'll be the 8th time of the year if he should get to 10 strikeouts.
Abraham Almonte 0 for 2 is grounded out, and he has struck out. I think Verlander's telling him, I can't see the sign. I don't know if he was. If the shadows are getting in the way at this late in the game or what the deal was. And now McCann's going to go out and have a chat. Try to get on the same page. You wouldn't think that would be an issue this late in the game, but the Indians haven't had a runner at second base until this inning.
Well, but still, he had no problem with Martinez at the plate. He came out there and threw a lot of curveballs.
He's only at 75 pitches with 2 down here in the 6th.
And this is really good for him when you look at it throughout. The 4th and 5th, just 9 pitch innings, 12 and 10.
How about that 4th inning? 9 pitches, and he struck out 2 of the 3 batters he faced. Well, Detroit has to be happy. Toronto beating Baltimore 5-1. They're in the 6th inning.
Oh yeah, nice curveball again. He's got strike 1 with the fastball inside. Now he'll go to his off-speed pitches. Earlier in the game, he was getting his strikeouts on fastballs. And there you go, the backdoor breaking ball right on the outside edge. Good pitch.
Two on, 2 out. But Almonte in the hole, 1-2. And Verlander thought he had strike 3. Instead, it's 2-2.
Well, he went with that same pitch, but it looks like it might be out a little bit more. But, you know, when you get in a groove like that, I'm sure there's times you get it.
Up and in a full count. Boy, that was 97. And that got his attention.
He still has it in the tank when needed. You know, he can reach back. He's throwing 93, 94, and then all of a sudden he looks for that strikeout pitch. He can get it up there.
Verlander has been dominant, but one swing of the bat could make this a whole lot more interesting. And again, they have to go out and talk it over here.
Verlander called him out. He wants to know for sure.
If you're Almonte, you got to look fastball when he's throwing at 97.
Yeah, but will he get one?
He did, but it was down. Did he go? He did, and the inning is over. Indians get a pair on, but they strand them. Middle of the 6th. 6-0 Detroit.
Access to Tribe Rewards, and today's Tribe Rewards TV code is Kluber. Visit Indians.com season tickets for complete details.
Well, for the Indians now, they go back to the bullpen, and Adam Plutko will be coming on. Sean Armstrong did a nice job.
Yes, he did.
They worked 2 scoreless innings, facing the minimum number of batters. Now Adam Plutko, who just made his major league debut recently, had a solid year, split between Double and Triple-A. 9 wins, a 3.73 ERA. He's got James McCann, Jose Iglesias, and Ian Kinsler. Down low, ball 1. Plutko, an 11th round pick out of UCLA 3 years ago. And a strike call. The year the Indians drafted Plutko, he pitched the UCLA Bruins to their first ever national championship in baseball. Popped him up, foul ground, playable for Aguilar. Actually, it might stay. Nope, it isn't foul ground. 1 down. In-game recap brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Miguel Cabrera was the third batter of the game, and that made it 2-0. Then he came up in the second inning with 2 on and 2 out, and that made it 5-0.
Yeah, that's amazing, because up until yesterday, Cabrera had 3 RBIs against the Indians all year.
Isn't that something?
He had 2 last night, and now he has 5 tonight. So, you know, they have done a wonderful job with him this year, but you can see how he can go off.
But the difference tonight, I don't even remember so much last night. It seems like a blur now. But the difference tonight compared to the first 14 or so games was how they pitched him. They buried him inside all season long, really pounded him in. Tonight, a couple of balls were out over the plate.
Yeah. Well, they fall behind. He's such a good hitter, and he makes adjustments. And young kids, they'll learn that this hitter, he doesn't miss it. And when he gets a pitch to his liking, they fell behind him a couple of times. And, you know, he's going to make you pay. He hit a ball, a changeup, straightaway center field out of here. He had a fastball up out over the plate, and he just shot it to right center field. He's such a good hitter. But the job that the Tribe has done as a whole on the middle part of this lineup between Cabrera, Victor Martinez, J.D. Martinez, they've been outstanding all year long, and hence that's why the record is what it is.
Nice job by Chris Jimenez. The third baseman throws him out. 2 down. A little short-handed or a short-hop pick.
Yeah, Chris will go out there. He'll do whatever you ask, right? He'll play third. He'll play first. He'll go in the outfield if you ask him, and certainly go behind the plate. Andre, what do you got about Chris at third?
When I asked Tito about it, he looked at me and goes, I didn't have anybody else to play. Don't tell anybody why I put him there. He said, I looked around and he said, I guess it's going to be Chris. Chris found out during the celebration last night. Everybody was going back and forth. And,
oh, yeah.
And basically, as it always goes, Millsy comes over and he goes, hey, you're playing third base tomorrow. So he opened up a bottle of champagne and poured it over Millsy's head.
Tell you what, he handled that little short hop, though. They're very fundamentally sound. Had the glove out front. I mean, he looked like an old hand over there at the hot corner. Ian Kinsler with his second hit of the night. Bloops one in. Watch how he gets the glove out front.
Well, he's ready, and it's at tweener. Let's go. Once you start going in, you don't stop. Might open a bottle of champagne and drink to that one.
Why not? Two down, and Cameron Maben the batter. I seem to recall, and I don't know, maybe this is one of those deals where a bunch of stories run together. Hard to separate fact from fiction when you as the years go by. But I seem to recall one of the first celebrations in the Indians clubhouse, that would have been that 95 clinch of the division. Mr. Jacobs coming in afterwards and seeing the players celebrating with the champagne. He's like, that's really expensive champagne they're pouring out all over the floor and on their heads. Why don't we give them the cheap stuff if that's all they're going to do with that?
That would be wise.
That's right. Couldn't blame them if nobody's going to drink it.
Right. Yeah, a lot of it is all over the curtains and everything they set up, and I wonder how long it takes those guys to set up a clubhouse to tape everything off.
Well, we just let Marty walk out. We should have asked him. He was here.
We should have.
Popped back out of play. Well, I can tell you this, Arch.
We'll ask him for tomorrow.
I know how long it takes him to tear it down.
No time.
No time at all.
Exactly. It's probably torn down by the players. First of all,
I was there in '97, and I watched how fast they tore it down when it was all set up for the celebration in Miami, and they had to rip it out of there fast. just missed inside.
Well, you better throw this guy a strike and make him hit his way on, because someone's lurking on deck. This is why, if you're Cameron Maybin, you know you're going to get pitches to hit throughout the course of the year with the guy that's batting behind you, so you get fed some pretty good pitches.
Aguilar's there.
There you go.
And the big man makes the catch. We played 6-0 Detroit. Ford, built Ford tough. By the injury lawyers at Elk & Elk, proud partner of the Cleveland Indians. Call 1-800-ELK, Ohio. And by Adventure, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram. Ten strikeouts for Justin Verlander through 6 innings of work. He's got 4, 5, and 6 due up for the Indians here in the 7th. Carlos Santana flied out the deep right in the 2nd, and then he struck out on a 97-mile-an-hour fastball to end the 4th inning. That's what's been impressive about Verlander, watching him here the last start he made against the Indians and here tonight, that even at this stage in his career, with all the innings that he has logged, and I know he used to hit triple digits early in his career, but he still can rear back, and he's still getting 97 at the end of September.
He's got a great delivery. You know, he come up and he's, you know, a big, tall guy. He's athletic. And boy, he's been a workhorse, man. He's built, man, he's a Clydesdale. You know, he's a grinder. He goes out there 9 straight seasons with 200 innings.
I mean,
not straight, but he has 9 of them.
They have paid handsomely for it. I mean, he's getting a king's ransom, but he answers the bell. You got to give him that. Santana golfs it foul. More times than not, though, when Verlander has faced the Indians, the results are usually flip-flopped.
For 10 years, 200 innings or more. And usually they're more. And when you take, he takes you into the postseason, the times, you just add that another month on.
0-2 the count on Santana. And he spiked that one in the dirt.
Carlos has hit 7 home runs off Verlander. Man, these guys are having a tough time. Now he started to go out and talk to him, and now he's going
Get back there.
play.
And Verlander said, "Get back there." He just waved him off. And now the 1-2 pitch. Hung it, but he lined it right into the glove of Kinsler. 1 down. I still remember when Verlander threw his no-hitter back in 07 against Milwaukee. He was throwing, if I remember right, they showed the radar gun. He hit 100 miles an hour late in that game when he threw the no-hitter.
Yeah. Well, look at these. He has 10 tonight. Clemens has 11 against the Indians. 10 or more strikeout games. He's done it 8 times against the Tribe. He's done it 8 times this year against everybody.
Geyer singled in the 2nd inning, and it was a line smash right back up the middle that literally knocked Verlander on his backside. Holy mackerel.
You know, for a veteran combination to be together, and McCann's caught most of his ball games, hard to believe they're having that kind of communication issue.
Especially when he's dominated, and it's not like if I make a mistake here, it's going to hurt me. You got a 6-run lead. It's just kind of confounding. Jammed him, popped him up, broke his bat. Indians. That's out number 2, and the Indians they have 3 hits tonight. Here's the last out of that Verlander no-hitter against Milwaukee in 2007. Pudge Rodriguez, Maglio Ordonez caught the lot. There's Sean Casey getting in the dog pile.
Yeah, right.
There was a time, you know, at that stage in his career where he was one of those pitchers, and you know, there are guys that are like that when they're in their prime. Every time he took the ball, you thought he could throw a no-hitter
on any given day. Yeah, you're right. On any given day, you're right. He had the stuff. He certainly could shut down an offense in a hurry.
Now the 1-1 off the plate. Last year, it seemed like the Indians had a couple of different guys that had the potential every time they went out there. Carlos Carrasco being one of them.
He did it, what, 3 times?
Yeah, he got deep into games.
Very deep. Kluber could take you deep into games.
Swing and a miss. Carrasco, though, truly had 2 outs in the ninth down in Tampa. And that line drive just over the glove of a leaping Jason Kipnis for the only hit.
Yeah, his reaction was priceless.
Yeah,
I mean, he started
really
laughing, and you're going, oh, man, what are you laughing at? It was oh so close.
The 2-2. And a bouncer to Kinsler. 1-2-3. Stretch time in Detroit. Tigers 6, Indians nothing. Wayne State University. They've had a lot to cheer about tonight. Thanks to this guy, Miguel Cabrera has driven in 5 of the Tigers' 6 runs. Adam Plutko worked a scoreless 6th inning. Out of play. So in the first 15 games against the Indians this year, he had 3 RBIs.
How about that? That's how fast a good hitter. You make a few mistakes, you put some base runners on, he can crush you.
Mentioned that before, Plutko helped the UCLA Bruins win their first national championship in baseball 3 years ago in that College World Series. He went 2-0 with a 1.38 ERA. Miguel Cabrera, meanwhile, has his 3rd hit of the night.
Well, the Indians, even the young guys that have pitched tonight, have still made a conscious effort to try to go in, but they can't locate it in there, you know. And if you miss, you got to go in off the plate, maybe move his feet sometimes. So he has 3 hits, and they intentionally walked him once.
To me, maybe it's because we're like what they would call the old war veteran shell-shocked. We've watched so many times him destroy the Indians that I'll take that all day long right there.
Sure.
Give him a little leadoff single. I'm fine with that.
No problem.
He can run the bases.
I agree. I remember it was not long ago, if it wasn't last year, it was the year before, where I think in the first dozen to 15 games he was hitting 600 against us. It was like Little League when he was playing against us.
Martinez sends a fly ball to center field. Tyler Naquin makes the catch, 1 away. The injury report brought to you by the attorneys at Elk and Elk. And the Washington Nationals, well, the Indians know this story all too well. They're getting ready for trying to make a run for the playoffs, but their guys are falling by the wayside. And Wilson Ramos done for the year. And, you know, Steven Strasburg, a key guy, won't be able to pitch in the first round.
Yeah, okay. We just go back 1 year when we were talking about Miggy and the way he was able to swing the bat against us. In his first 11 games, Murph looked it up, he hit .619. He had 5 homers and 16 ribbies.
He hit what?
.619.
.619.
5 homers, 16 ribbies in his first 11 games last year. So they did a complete turnaround. And they started out the year 9-2 against the Tribe.
Yeah.
So it's a reversal. Indians get 2 points for the reversal, like a wrestling match.
Were you a grappler when you were younger?
No, I wasn't. That was the same time as basketball season. But
you follow the sport, so you know it's 2 points for a reverse.
Absolutely.
How many for an escape?
1.
That's right. See, you know your stuff. Well, let's see, what else can we talk about?
That goes for the years that Seg and I would do big time wrestling.
Is that right?
In the hotel.
Pletko fires in. JD Martinez watches it hit the dirt. Just missed inside. Good fastball from Pletko. Good location, but Martinez not biting. And a full count. And that pitch goes out of play to the right. And then we'll try it again at 3-2. Well,
I was wondering.
Yeah, I'm wondering too. I'm like, okay,
how many more pitches he wants to look at?
Thought maybe we lost the count, but. So tomorrow, there's your matchup. McAllister and Fulmer will be on the air at 7 o'clock as usual with the first pitch. Indians Live will start our coverage at 6:30. Here's Justin Upton with 2 on and 1 out. And he takes a strike.
Upton was upset in his last at bat when he swung on a pitch and he grounded it to short. He flipped that bat down. This guy has been hot. He has been swinging it for a while now for the Tigers. Got off to a very slow start this year. You look at his numbers now, 28 homers, 82 RBI. He has really turned it around.
Now the 2-1. Pop back out of play. Upton, you know, you look at his numbers, and I gave you the numbers last night. Don't have them in front of me. Upton and Kenry Morales, if you look at what they did, I think on the first 90 or so games this year, what they've done since then.
Oh, yeah.
It's truly night and day. I mean, on June 1st, he had 3 home runs. He's at 25 cents.
Yeah, yeah.
And Morales is roughly the same kind of production, a little higher batting average, but he's better hitter overall anyway.
Like different players.
Yeah.
Whatever turned around, you don't know if they had injuries, but I mean, Morales was DH. You know, this guy's been playing the outfield, and when he first came here, he was hitting in the number 2 spot, if you remember. First time we came to play the Tigers, you know, and he was struggling. He was striking out a lot. I think he had 30 strikeouts in less than his first 100 at bats.
Murph said Upton's got 23 RBI in September. Morales is 29 just in September. So these guys have been red hot for an extended period of time. Hanging breaking ball, hit a ton. And I mean to tell you, that is a long home run for Justin Upton. A 3-run shot, his 29th on the year now.
I had a feeling when he threw that bat down the last time that he was mad at himself.
Oh, was he ever?
And he was not going to give away an at-bat here. And he caught onto a hanging breaking ball and hit it deep into the night for number 29 and give him now 85 RBIs. Boy, that one just stayed belt high on the inner part of the plate. And that was deep into the night.
Nothing Tigers. And it's been like in football, you call it the big chunk plays. That's what the Tigers have done. 2-run double and 2 3-run homers.
Yes, sir.
So Upton's hit 11 home runs this month. That's one more than Brian Dozier, who's been unconscious,
Yes, he
and
has.
Hanley Ramirez, who's had a phenomenal year for
He
Boston.
was player of the week. Yes.
That
goes to show you where he is. You touch him and you're going to burn your finger.
Keep your distance.
Yeah, right. Talk about the heat miser.
Blooped toward left, but hangs up for Geyer. 2 down. Yankees lead the Red Sox 6-4 in the 7th inning. Just saw a story that in that game, and this happens throughout sporting events all the time now, but a Yankee fan was proposing to his girlfriend. He dropped the ring.
No.
And all of the fans that were sitting in the area were like in full panic mode on their hands and knees trying to find the ring. And then the look on the guy's face was like just utter despair, like, oh my God, if that ring fell down a crack or went over the side, it's down on the lower deck somewhere. Imagine, you know how much money those things cost.
Oh boy.
Eventually somebody found it. He proposed.
In the section?
She said yes. Yeah.
Well, thank God she said yes.
After all that,
yeah, right.
You know, after watching you fumble around there with that, I'm going to say no. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think so. You got bad hands.
Here's a 2-strike pitch from Pletko. And a fastball gets him looking to end the inning. Justin Upton tees off, sends one deep into the night, and the Tigers lead it 9-0. By authority of the Cleveland Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians. Well, the Indians have had a magical year here, especially in Detroit. So many crazy moments. That catch that Rajai Davis made, the leadoff homer in his first at bat as a leadoff hitter for Carlos Santana.
4 homers in an inning, 4 triples in a game.
That was, yeah. And then it all culminates with last night winning the Central Division Championship. The 8th division title for the Indians. First in 9 years. Chris Jimenez 0 for 2 leading off here in the 8th inning. Takes ball 1. Andrew Romine takes over defensively at first base for Detroit. Again, the news for Detroit is positive because it looks like Toronto's going to beat Baltimore. It's 5-1 in the 9th, and that would move the Tigers to within 1 game of that second wild card spot.
Yeah, and you know the way they have to look at it is, hey, we have to win out because Seattle's playing Houston, and they're 2 games. They're tied with the Tigers. They're up over Houston 4-2 in the 5th. Not that that one's close to being over.
And that's Felix Hernandez, though.
Okay.
For Seattle, so you figure if you're Seattle, you're feeling pretty good about that.
You would think so.
Out of play.
But you know, it's really, Saturday was the tough game for the Tigers.
Oh.
They were on a 5-game winning streak playing the Kansas City Royals. They had a 4-2 lead going into the 9th inning with their closer on the mound, K-Rod, who's been doing a great job, second in the league in saves. Got to 2 outs, had 2 guys on. They got a couple of base hits. As was 1 strike away from getting out and winning their 6th straight game, and he gave up a double to center field that tied the ball game. And it didn't stop there. They just continued to go on, and they ended up hitting a 3-run homer. Hosmer did.
I don't know if that kid caught it, but that everybody sort of held their breath and anxiety at first, because anytime you see a young kid right behind the dugout, it's such a dangerous spot. But they've got their gloves. They were obviously on the ready.
Well, maybe that ball went into his glove and it caught him in the hand, or maybe it hit his brother and the kid caught it on a rebound.
Everybody seems to be okay down there. And Jimenez goes down on strikes. Number 11 for Justin Verlander. 1 down.
Back-to-back games Verlander has had 11. Again, we told you a lot of fastballs early. He had 6 out of the first 8 that were on fastballs. And you can see, and then Uncle Charlie started coming to the table. And there's a little breaking ball. He got the swing on that one.
So that was his 10th before the 11th, just now to Jimenez. And here's Adam Moore.
Well, and the kind of year he's having, you would figure he's a guy like for the Indians, Kluber. Very similar numbers between the two starters. If you can get this guy 4 runs in a ball game, you got a pretty good chance to win, don't you?
You would think so.
Yeah.
Well, and
I mean,
with
this
the role
offense,
he's been on.
And that's what I'm saying. With this offense, I mean, you got to take it and say, let's go. We got to get 4 runs tonight, no matter who you're facing. And we got a really good chance to win that ball game.
Now, I know on the last homestand, the Indians had that game against Detroit in which Verlander pitched, where Carlos Carrasco suffered the unfortunate fracture and 2 pitches into the game, so they had to use the bullpen.
10 innings.
And it was scoreless. It was an incredible job by the bullpen. That's essentially what you're looking for tomorrow. Not that you want to, you expecting them to go out and pitch shutout baseball, but it's a bullpen game with Zach McAllister starting.
Well, you better not give up too many because you got Fulmer pitching, and he's one of the best in the league when it comes to ERA.
So my point being, Arch, in a game like that, if you're an everyday player, if you're just a position player, you've got to feel a sense of, hey, we've got to score some runs today. You can't expect a bullpen game like they had on that homestand in Cleveland. You can't expect those guys to go out and pitch 9 innings of shutout baseball.
No, not at all.
So we'll see who's in the lineup tomorrow. I would expect the regulars will be back in there as Verlander strikes out his 12th batter of the night.
That high fastball has been a treat for him. You get the 2 strikes, you elevate the heater, you get the swing and the miss. And you can see the young hitters saying, man, you can't lay off that pitch, fellas. And you know what? We watch it every night. Tough pitch to lay off.
Eric Gonzalez comes to the plate, and he's looking around. Oh, what's the big deal here, guys? I'm 2 for 2. Come on now. Join the party. Gonzalez singled to right in the 3rd, and last time up he had an infield single to 3rd base.
So Verlander says, okay, you're 2 for 2. Try and hit this. So it starts him off with a curveball.
He's earned his respect.
Yeah, well, exactly. You get 2 hits, okay. Try this.
And then a little slider on the outside corner. Like, oh boy. Now if you're Eric Gonzalez saying, is this the same guy?
Oh, it's the same guy.
Now what does he do?
Whatever he wants. High fastball.
That's what I'm thinking.
Curveball. You can do whatever you want.
97 letters.
You can throw the breaking ball. He's going to get another hit.
How about that? Eric Gonzalez is 3 for 3 on the night. Now, granted, he didn't kill that ball, but
doesn't matter. It's a hit.
You got to put it in play to get a hit. And that's it. Here comes the manager, Brad Ausmus, to a chorus of boos. But at 110 pitches, Ausmus is thinking, I need him to come back and pitch again on Sunday, potentially to get this team into a postseason berth or maybe a wild card game I'm going to need him for. So, and this game's a runaway. I mean, they've got it in the bag at 9-0, so there's no sense of pushing him any further, and he gets a huge ovation from the 25,696 here in Detroit. of the dugout last inning and was off the bat of Chris Jimenez. He was temporarily shaken up, but he seems to be A-OK, and that's good news. New pitcher for the Tigers, left-hander Kyle Ryan. He's on to face Tyler Naquin with a 1 on and 2 out, and the Tigers up 9-0.
Ryan pitched an inning in last night's ball game, pitched the 6th inning. Came in relief of Buck Farmer, and he had zeros across the board.
Well, in a game that Tigers absolutely had to have tonight, Justin Verlander came through, pitching like you would expect the ace of the staff to pitch.
Exactly right. He came out. That's his second very good start against the Indians. Last time I told you in Cleveland, it was 7 innings and 1 hit, and there's another strikeout.
Middle of the 8th. Tigers up 9-0. Access for postseason tickets to the League Championship Series and World Series at Progressive Field. If you purchase season tickets for next year, you'll also get opening day priority, access to the Tribe Rewards program, and much more. Visit Indians.com/postseason or call the Indians at 216-420-HITS today. Austin Adams on the pitch here in the 8th inning. Got a pinch hitter here, Dixon Machado. He grounds one to short. Eric Gonzalez will throw him out. And here comes Nick Castellanos, and that'll get a huge roar from this crowd. They've been waiting for him to return. He's been out with that fracture in his hand. And that could be a real boost for this ball club if he's able to come back.
No question.
And help over
having a nice year.
Last stretch of games.
He's hit 286 with 18 dingers, 58 ribbies. He was having a very nice year. And he has played well against the Tribe.
I'm trying to recall, did he get hit by a pitch?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it happened in a game against the Mets. They've got enough guys that can throw hard. They can do some damage. Swing and a miss. And it's 1-2. But, you know, we talked about it earlier with Andre, with Yan Gomes. You know, you miss that much time, you just don't know. Can you get enough at bats? Can you really have a chance to be effective?
Well, the tough thing is, you're right. You come back, you're never at midseason form. It takes a while to work your way back into a feeling. And there's not that much time left, so you don't know if he can help you. You certainly hope so.
Low and away. Full count. And a ground ball fair. Down a left field line, and Castellanos on his way to second, and he'll go in standing with a double.
Well, the fans say welcome back. They're standing on their feet. They love it. You go to a full count and you throw him a fastball middle in. It was down, but he pulled it on the ground inside the bag at third, down into the corner. So Castellanos will get his 24th double. So they're saying welcome back.
Yeah, we get another pinch hitter now. Tyler Collins. And he golfs one to right center field. There's a gapper. That'll go to the wall. That'll score. Castellanos. Collins will go all the way to third with an RBI triple.
There's another fastball, maybe too much of the plate. It was down, but Collins, the left-handed hitter, drilled it into the right center field gap. So a double and a quick triple on back-to-back pitches, and it is now 10-0.
Upstairs, ball one. As Andrew Romine gets his first at bat. And there's a long drive to deep right, and that is gone. Andrew Romine rubs it in with a 2-run homer. 3 runs here in the 8th for Detroit, and they lead it 12-0.
Again, you're going to see another fastball in. Romine gets to it, puts a short swing on it. So they've gone double, triple, homer in their last 3 at bats. And it is officially a rout.
Yet another pinch hitter. And this will be the big man, Steven Moya, who we saw early in the year as a right fielder for Detroit. Swung on and missed. It's 0-2. 2-strike pitch, and that's up high. Two and two. Andre is standing by just as soon as this at-bat concludes with Moya. Got an update on Corey Kluber's status. Fouled right back.
I can go now. Or
We don't want to interrupt. This is a key at bat in this game right here. All right, what do you got down there?
After knowing that Corey Kluber left last night, he underwent MRI imaging following up the exam today in Cleveland. The MRI confirmed the presence of a mild strain of one of his quadriceps muscles. There's no growing injury that was ruled out. The timetable for his return is expected to be within 7 to 10 days.
Good news.
So that's a sigh of relief, correct?
Yeah, I don't think so. Absolutely. It's not a groin muscle, and that's his push-off leg too, right? The right one?
It's the right leg. But great job by you guys finding it yesterday, because I even had some writers come up to me today and said, did we see anything that happened?
Oh, yeah, we saw it, all right.
We saw it. I didn't see it the first time. Matt picked something up, and then we went back and revisited, and that was right before in that inning that he was able to get out of that jam with the bases loaded.
This was the play. Watch Kluber after the ball gets away. Watch him just kind of, he reached down and grabbed for it, and he just didn't have the kind of burst. I just thought it looked awkward initially.
Yeah, it did.
I didn't think a whole lot of it.
That was that play where Kipnis tried to flip it to the shortstop and went over his head. Yeah. And you couldn't see it. But I'll tell you what, he battled in there and got out of the inning. But unfortunately, it was the 4th inning.
But
if he had gone one more, he would have had a win.
Tito seemed to indicate, though, that this didn't just pop up, right, Andre?
Right. Well, I was going to ask, with that injury and seeing that, because he's not a hitter, doesn't have to run, and this is all speculation, how much do you think it does affect him in pitching? You know what I mean?
I have no clue.
Good question. I don't know.
I really couldn't even answer that.
I mean, as you said, it's his drive leg. You're driving off that mound.
It's your push-off leg, so who knows?
Sometimes, too, when you get an injury, depending on the severity of it, it all depends on, sometimes you can move around and walk around and you look just fine, but when you've got to make that instant reaction, like that play right there where you're standing still and then all of a sudden you've got a quick burst, that's when you feel it. So
say you got a bunt play or you have to cover first base or something like that, that may affect it more.
Not like you can just avoid that, though, when you're out there. Here's the 0-2 pitch and a ground ball to third.
Please.
And a double play gets him out of the inning. Tigers score 3 more. They're up 12. We're going to the ninth.
Good luck.
I want to see you pull the rabbit out of that hat, my friends.
Good luck. What a difference a day makes.
I just want to hear you guys talk all about postseason baseball. It's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it.
Oh, please. Oh.
Well, Andre was prepared. He had the goggles. I was not. I went old school. I like the burn. I want to feel the burn in the eyes.
Andre looked like he was on Sea Hunt.
Yes, that's right. Downhill racer.
He's going to the Bahamas after and going snorkeling.
All right, Alan Jensen will be up shortly with Indians Live, and obviously lots to talk about with regards to the news on Corey Kluber, which definitely sounds positive as Michael Martinez chops one to short. And let's face it, with the news we've been hit with lately, we'll take anything where there's a ray of light.
That's great news. It's not the groin. Just to begin with, that's great news.
Abraham Almonte 0 for 3. Struck out a couple of times. We'll be right back here tomorrow night with Game 3 of this 4-game series. And Thursday is an afternoon game to wrap it up. But tomorrow night, Indians will turn to a full arsenal of bullpen pitchers. Zach McAllister will start. Terry Francona saying, he'll go as long as he can.
It's unfortunate, but we've seen too many of those bullpen games recently.
Yeah,
we're used to seeing those starters, those 5 go out there and start. I'm already sick of seeing the bullpen games. But not much you can do.
No, I mean, when you don't have the horses to run the race, you've got to put whoever you can into those spots. Ground ball to short. And Almonte is retired, 2 down. And the keys to the game, courtesy of Mazda. Verlander was terrific, and Clevenger really struggled.
We gave Verlander an offer. We had 8 zeros on the board when he was out there.
We went over. The Indians went over.
Yeah, right. And Clevenger not very good tonight. Disappointing for me. But all things considered, the way what happened last night, you take that into consideration.
For Detroit, as I stated before, this was a game they had to have to keep their playoff hopes alive. And it will continue really to be that way as they try to close the gap to a single game on Baltimore in that wild card race. The throw to first. The game is over. The Tigers blank the Indians. 12-0 is the final. Detroit now 84-73. They stop a 3-game losing streak. Verlander gets the win. It's his 16th. The loss to Mike Clevenger. He's 2-3. The Indians now 91-66 on the year. And Toronto did, in fact, beat Baltimore 5-1 the final. So it's official now. The Tigers put themselves just a game back of the Orioles for that second wild card position.
Well, they'll be happy for that. And they'll be ready to roll tomorrow.
12-0 is the final from the Motor City. We'll have some final thoughts right after this.